Wisconsin Foodie would like to thank the following underwriters for their support: the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board and the Dairy Farm Families of Wisconsin, Outpost Natural Foods Co-op, and Superior Equipment and Supply.
The words Door County and Cherry strung together are almost a given. If you've ever driven the door, you've seen the ubiquitous signs, pick your own, etc. It started at the end of the 19th century with just a few orchards, but by early 20th it took 230 rail cars to bring in the harvest. So what once was done by hand, now these huge mechanical pickers basically shake the tree. The loose cherries fall down, and then they're immediately run into a cold bath. That's what keeps them fresh, that's what keeps them firm, that's what keeps them sweet and tart. This was all done by hand. Imagine 10,000 acres throughout the door. Now it's about 2,000, but still, it's an amazing enterprise. Grandpa Dale Seaquist, fourth generation cherry master. How are you?
Well, I'm doing just fine.
All right, so tell me about these wheels that are shaking the trees.
Okay, there's two wheels that revolve at a slightly different speed, and there's an off-center weight on each of those wheels. And I mean, it's quite heavy, 50 or 60 pounds each weight. So when those things vibrate, they cause the tree to vibrate one direction for an instant, and then it goes to another direction, and it works all the way around so that all the limbs, each limb has its own frequency and needs to be shaken. So with that revolution, it shakes the whole tree.
So you're telling me that harvesting cherries is a musical act?
It's a little bit like a musical guitar.
Love it.
We harvest into these tanks in the orchard, and each tank can hold about 1,100 pounds of cherries, plus the water and so on that's in it. But they start with cold water in the tank in the orchard, and the water gradually flows out as they harvest. The cherries are brought up here and are cooled for a minimum of 4 hours before they're pitted. The cool water here causes the cherries to get hard.
Wow.
and they can get pitted easily.
I don't have to tell you this, but these are really good cherries.
Oh yeah, they're good.
They're so distinctive. There's a Door County flavor. You can argue with me that there isn't, but there is. There's a Door County cherry flavor.
Yeah, they got a strong flavor, all right. They're rather tart. We've got about 30 different varieties of cherries growing on our place. Most of them most of the varieties that we have are sweet cherries. We've got a couple Hungarian varieties, and these are Montmorency cherries right here.
So you got all these tanks, and they're chilling the cherries that came in from the orchard, and then they're going to get dumped in that thing. And I see that little sort of...
It's an elevator that elevates them up, and then they go through a belt that's oscillating, and eventually the cherries will turn so that the stem sticks up, and then the stem gets yanked off by a lawnmower blade.
Coup de grace.
Takes it right off. And then they go across an eliminator, which eliminates the real small cherries and stuff, and they get dumped back out in the orchard again. The good cherries continue on into the plant. The good cherries flow through, go up into the elevator that takes them up to the conveyor that divides them out to the different pitters. We've actually got 18 pitters in there. And each pitter gets its supply of cherries. It can pit about 1,100 pounds per hour, each pitter. And then the cherries, after they've come out of the pitter, they are scanned by electric eyes again. If the electric eyes say that, hey, there's a pit in there yet, then it gets puffed into a flume that takes it back and makes the circle around again.
The whole Monopoly trip again. Do not collect 200.
The good cherries go on through and are eventually put into the containers that we're running 30-pound containers right now, and they're blended with 5 pounds of sugar into 25 pounds of cherries.
I mean, you guys are the epicenter of Wisconsin cherries. You guys grow the most, you process the most, you turn them into the most interesting things. You're essentially, Seaquist is cherries for Wisconsin.
Well, I don't know if you can stretch it quite that far. We're important in the cherry growing world here, and I guess we raise about 60% of the cherries grown in Wisconsin, but there's a lot of other growers too.
Yeah.
We are actually, used to be 700 growers here in Door County, and we raised up to 50 million pounds, but now there's only just a few of us left, and we raise about 60% of the cherries that are grown in the state here on our farm. Yeah.
So it's a true American story. I mean, your dad's dad started planting these trees, growing them, and then traveling around the region on a boat to sell the fruit.
My dad's grandfather.
Your dad's grandfather?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Even
my dad planted his first orchard in 1912. I planted my first orchard when I was a junior in high school. That's 1948 or so.
Well, Dale, thank you. You have a beautiful family. You have gorgeous orchards, but most importantly, you have delicious fruit.
Well, thank you. Thanks for stopping in. We appreciate you guys coming by.
It's your treasure in Wisconsin, and there's no trumping up of that. It's just, that's what you are.
Well, thank you. I got a good family.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi, I'm Claire.
I'm Matt, and we're Quince and Apple.
I'm Quince. No, I'm Apple.
You're Apple. I'm Quince.
He's Quince, I'm Apple. We have a business together making small batch artisan preserves here in Madison, Wisconsin.
We're headed over to our kitchen, to our production facility, and we are gonna make a batch of our newest preserved tart cherry and white tea. It started really as a small kind of just hobby of mine, selling to friends and family, and before long we were subletting some kitchen space from some friends, and before we knew it, we had moved into here, which is our production facility. So this is us. It's small. It's all like just about 700 square feet. We originally were going to buy Claire cubicle walls, but we just ended up building them out of box sizes that we no longer use.
Yeah, mention that my office is cardboard.
Yeah. Turns out cubicles are really expensive, and cardboard is not. So we discontinued this box size, and now they're walls. We started real small, started with just a few stores here in Madison, and now we sell Madison, Milwaukee, around the state of Wisconsin, also in Chicago and some in New York as well. The really important things about us is that we're a small batch preserves company. Oranges in February might be different than oranges in June. Pears that we get at the beginning of the season are different than the varietals that we're getting at the end of the season. We're gonna make a batch of our tart cherry and white tea today. We make each batch in a pot that only makes about 110 jars. It allows us to really kind of focus in and make sure that the quality is extremely high in every single batch that we do. We use tea that we get from Rishi Tea in Milwaukee. One of the really important things about this preserve is that it has this really unique floral quality that comes from the jasmine pearl, and we tried it with a few other teas during our testing process, and none of them even came close. Really, this preserve uses a lot of tea, but it's important because it gives such a unique flavor to it. The foundation flavor that I feel like really kind of holds the jasmine flavor to the cherries in a way is this white tea. This has this kind of floral quality to it and a really earthy quality to it.
Usually when we come up with a flavor, from starting it to getting it like totally finalized, often we'll take 30 to 50 test batches for us to like really tweak it, because we're really going for like this flavor balance.
Now, it's important, you know, when you're making tea at home, when you're using really high quality tea, you want to make sure that you're steeping it at the right temperature. And we have a digital thermometer with our little laser pointer here. We're going to do the sugar now. We keep all of our, we use a lot of sugar, so we keep it in this big bin here.
So here's a little fun fact that's very important if you're going to make preserves at home. You need to mix your pectin with the sugar so that when you put the pectin into the preserve, it doesn't ball up. Pectin is it's a natural formation in fruit. It's what makes fruit hard. So in an apple, like the reason an apple's firm is because there's like a wall or like an interlacing wall of pectin holding it together.
Cherries have almost no pectin, which is why they're so soft. So it requires a fair amount of pectin in order to get this to get the right gel. Preserves like our orange marmalade, where there's a ton of pectin in citrus rinds, we use hardly any. So the water is all set, and we check the temperature. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour this over the tea leaves. It's not heavy, so, and then Claire is gonna start our timer. We just kind of stand here and stir this intermittently as we go. This smells so good. I wish you could smell this through the TV.
Yeah, like if you walk in toward the end of a production, it smells just amazing in here.
Yeah, it's really great.
Although, when we also have a shallot preserve, and when we make that, we do not smell so awesome.
No. And then when this is done, what we'll do is we'll just kind of scoop it back into the pot that we heated the water in. Squeeze out most of the water. Really get the last extraction of flavor. Now we're gonna add our cherries. And you can see they're still just a little frozen. We get them in frozen so that we can be making this year round. Seaquist has all of their own processing facilities with the orchard that we get our cherries from. So now we're gonna add the first batch of sugar without the pectin. I am so excited about this preserve. It's really unique. It's completely different than anything that we've ever done. I think it's really different than any preserve that I've tasted. And to me, it's just like the fact that we're using cherries from Door County, we're using tea from Rishi and Milwaukee. It's like such a Wisconsin thing, such a Wisconsin preserve, but it's so unique. I think it's a really special preserve. I'm really excited about it. And then the last thing we need to do is juice some lemons.
Most of our preserves have some lemon juice in them to bring out a little bit of tartness. Like, you know how like it's nice to have like a little salt in a savory dish always? Like a lot of times a little lemon brings out more of the flavor. It makes cherry taste more like a cherry, or strawberry taste more like a strawberry.
So we're gonna add the lemon juice now that Claire juiced. As you can see, you're starting to get the foam up at the top here, and but the real way that you can tell is all of the cherries have come up. They're all floating up at the top here. When that starts to happen, you know that it's about to come up to a boil. So now that's the time where we're gonna add this next batch of sugar, and this has the pectin in it. And then, we'll simmer it just for about 5 minutes, and then it'll be ready to go. So basically these jars are all 6 ounces, and then I just have a 6-ounce ladle here. So I fill the ladle, and Claire moves the funnel. My parents both own their own businesses, and Claire's do too. So we both come from families that have, you know, kind of this entrepreneurial spirit.
So when you buy a Quince and Apple jar, you know that every jar has been touched by us.
Every lid has been put on by hand. So then as soon as we're done lidding, these will all go back on the tray, and then back in the oven. So that's that, yeah.
What I personally like about being an entrepreneur is the freedom that we have to choose our own path. you know, like we can come in every day and just say, well, what can we do to add value to the business? And it's our call, it's like our skin in the game. It's up to us, you know, so we can succeed and fail on our own merits, and that feels really good.
This is our labeling machine, a very high-tech labeling machine. You take a jar and then you just roll it like that, and then each one is hand stamped with the batch number. We just have like an old library stamper. So we are packing up an order for Fromagination. They're just down the street, so we're just gonna drive it over. Fromagination is a really wonderful cheese and specialty food shop here in Madison. When we started our business, they had been around for about 2 years when we started, and they were our very first account. They have been with us from the get-go. We don't have a store of our own, so they're kind of like our hometown store. Hey.
So this is like our whole collection, Quince and Apple. It looks really beautiful here on the shelves, I think.
They do a great job.
So we make these tiny jars, as you can see. They're marketing them adorably. And then this is the, we make this custom flavor for Fromagination. It's a cranberry relish. So that is just us and them. And then these are all our regular flavors. We have a pear, a fig, an orange, and a shallot. There's this whole community in Wisconsin of cheesemakers, artisans, like brewers, distillers, and I love being part of that community, and I think that there's a lot of momentum behind it in Wisconsin right now. There's a really strong culture of people who are collaborating to create something cool in the state.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye, Matt.
I feel like there's like an energy here in Wisconsin right now with food that it's just really exciting to be a part of.
Said I like it with a big wide grin, kept on popping it in, said again, get rhythm. When you get the blues, come on and get rhythm. When you get the blues, only cost a dime, just a nickel a shoe, does a million.
When one county in Wisconsin turns out to be the 4th largest cherry producer in the country, the best nod that I can think to that is to have a festival. And this is the Door County Cherry Festival. And it's delicious.
Said I like it with a big wide grin, kept on popping it in, said again, get rhythm. When you get the blues, come on and get rhythm. When you get the blues, only cost a dime, just a nickel a shoe, does $1 million worth of good for you, get rhythm. When you get the blues.
Got all kinds of brats. Got cherry brats, Italian brats, Southwest Fiesta brats, brats, you name it, we got it. Beer brats, hot brats, cold brats, frozen brats, not brats.
Just stop saying brat.
Okay. It's a brat kind of day.
It's a brat kind of day.
And where are you from?
I'm from my mom originally.
I am too.
From my mom? It's crazy we haven't met.
I think we went to different schools together.
So why does anybody that doesn't live in Door County want to eat a cherry brat?
Because they got a flavor of their own. They are so good. They're not spicy. They won't kick your butt or anything. And Keith and Jackie have come up with the recipe. They experimented for years trying to come up with a really good recipe of all their different brats. And the cherry brat recipe that they have now is just like, it's awesome.
I'm ready for a brat if you guys will give me one.
Yeah.
How do you eat a cherry brat? Ketchup, mustard, relish? No?
Oh my.
Oh, you can put onions on it, a little bit of ketchup maybe.
Yeah?
That's it.
Is that your way?
That's my way.
All right.
Yeah.
So I've often said, I'm a nice kid from Wisconsin. I don't know barbecue, I can't elucidate on sushi, but I do know a good bratwurst when I have one. And that, my friends, is a really good sweet tart cherry bratwurst. I gotta take a case of these back to Milwaukee and enlighten some of the folks down there. This is fantastic. Better in Wisconsin, baby. It's just that simple. Basically, this is Wisconsin moonshine by way of Door County cherries.
Well, it's funny you mention that. So this is Mississippi moonshine. Came right from Mississippi. Now what you got to do is you got to try this stuff.
Yeah, I've never had a cherry bounce with moonshine. I've had moonshine.
Are you
and I've
driving?
had cherries. Not presently.
Okay. I got some made with Mount Morencias. These are Mount Morencia cherries. They're a little bit lighter.
The Ballantines are, if you taste those, are a little bit firmer. Oh yeah, you can taste the shine.
So what would be great is if I had a beer to follow this up, because it's going to be like a shot.
They're working on it right now. Oh yeah, Bob. Doing a video tape. Yeah.
Woo! Whoa!
Told you. Isn't that good? Isn't that good stuff?
I feel like I'm down in the holler.
Oh yeah.
That was a genuine head shake I just gave. No, I don't do amaretto. I'm just hoping there's no Montezuma's Revenge on this. All right, Sam, I gotta
Kyle,
go.
thank you very much. Come on down. Go eat some more brats.
When you get the blues.
So you're the Klotchke girls.
Well,
For today.
yeah.
So straighten me out on this. Klotchke pie. Klotchke pie. First of all, what is a Klotchke, and why should I have that instead of pie?
Actually, you should have both.
I love you. We'll get along just great.
It's all made from scratch. It's they raise the dough.
I'm going to wait for the fresh ones to come out of the oven. I hear they're coming down from the town hall 2 blocks away. Oh, here it comes. Here they come. So everybody knows there's nothing better than a fresh baked good right out of the oven. With a Door County Klotchke, with Door County Cherries, at the Door County Cherry Festival. And warm, they're perfect. Wow.
Driving through the serving jungle, trying to make my turn. I sat through 4 green lights.
Wisconsin Foodie would like to thank the following underwriters for their support: the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board and the Dairy Farm Families of Wisconsin, Outpost Natural Foods Co-op, Superior Equipment and Supply, the restaurants of Potawatomi Bingo Casino, Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, Something Special from Wisconsin, and Colectivo Coffee Roasters.
Though the technology's changed, an orchard is still an orchard. There's a Japanese poet, Basho, who is famous for his haikus and mostly, often, about cherry blossoms. He's got a nice one that kind of fits. Dusk, though last bells fade, air, rich, cherry rich. It's kind of this.